What up, what up? It's Mikey Underdog. Today's video, guys, I want to go over how I'm trading SPY, how I'm doing the options on Thinkorswim for a lot of traders who are wondering how am I doing it, why am I doing it, and stuff like that, okay? So in general, guys, it's like the same concept of, as I'm trading small caps, all right, I still have my 1 minute, my 5 minute, and my daily, okay? What happens is that I switch over to the trade button on Thinkorswim, right? And now I'm gonna have my options strike prices. And I usually just have up 12, could do 14, which is sometimes depending on the range, right? And what I mean by range is if you pull up SPY from Friday, okay? SPY was trading anywhere between 398, right? Pre-market, and the low of 392. So really, this is about 6 strike prices, right? SPY goes by every dollar. So, necessarily you wouldn't need 14, but it's nice to have them up and kind of see, which direction it is. But that's the range. This is how I'm trying to find out the strike prices that I'm looking for to trade on Thinkorswim. Call versus puts, doesn't matter, right? So as I'm doing that, guys, when I do this, depending on the pattern that I see setting up on SPY or the levels that it's running to, and whether I have a bullish, mindset or a bearish mindset, that's how I figure it out, right? So whether the price is running up to, and I think it's just had the gas is running out, and I wanted to do some puts to short it, or if this is a nice pullback and I think it's going to rip, I'm going to do some calls to go long, okay? And on Thinkorswim, what you do is you just right click this and send it to box 1. All right, when I do that, it's going to pop up. Let me go back to my chart section right here. And now I have my option box layout on my active trader ladder, okay? And however, how much I want to do, and I click through how many contracts to do them. And so if you click over here back in the trade section, you clicked puts, right? So you're going to buy these puts, right? It seems kind of weird. It was weird to me in the beginning. I thought I had to sell them still, but you're going to buy them still. And then when you want to cover them, you're going to sell them, okay? Same thing if you're going to do calls. If you're doing calls, you're going to buy your calls, and then when you want to sell them and get out to exit the trade, you're going to sell them again, okay? Now, while I have this up, this is the most important part, and I see a lot of people trying to trade large caps like small caps. All right, they have the 1 and the 5 up, but what they forget to do is that on my left monitor, guys, all right, let me see if I can get this up. Here we go, display captures properties. Let me see what's going on over here. Cool. Nope, bear with me. There we go. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me get this back. Okay, it's only going to show the top half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my main one. Bear with me for 1 second, and then I'm going to dig right back into this. Okay, so mainly, guys, what I have on my left monitor, right, I dedicated a vertical monitor to this, okay? And what I do have is I have the 1, right, and the 5, but while this is setting up, guys, the most important thing to do to find out some real levels is that I flip through either the hourly, all right, to get a sense of direction, the 30-minute, okay, and even the 4-hour, right? Because depending on where this is setting up and the time of the day this is setting up, I want to identify the trend, right? I'm looking for patterns to continue because history repeats itself on these large caps, right? So I have a monitor that's dedicated to, while I'm in this option trade right here, right? I have my whole left screen with a vertical monitor with now I have the 1 minute, the 5, then I'll have up the 10, the 30, the hourly. Okay, and another thing I like to keep up too, which is I think is super important, is that I have ES up. Okay, it's basically the bigger SPY, the overall market too, the futures of it, and this thing basically trades right here. I have the 1, pull up the 1 right here. It is super identical. Okay, if you see how this is setting up right here, right, and you see it start to pull, ES pulls. If you can see the crosshairs on my screen, SPY pulls back too, does this little double bottom bounce, or bounces, fails, comes back, etc., pulls back, dumps. So I have this up too to give me a great indicator of where it's going to go. Now it's simultaneously sometimes, so it's just nice because I will have certain levels up on ES, and then you'll see SPY sometimes it's not very identical, so the prices may be up like 50 cents more, maybe 80 cents. So it's nice because you'll see them kind of coexist with each other, and I like to have that up as an indicator, right? So when I trade these guys, I am looking for key levels again on them, right? They're not like small caps, okay? So when I'm looking for these things, I'm looking for patterns that, I'm watching SPY over the months that I've been trading it now, and I'm looking for key levels, and when these key levels run into them, right? If you guys saw my previous video about level 2 and tape reading, I want to see how that tape is going to react at that level, right? So on SPY, I had the 4 hour or the hourly. Yeah, there we go. All right, so yesterday I had a level up, and it was basically right here, okay, on SPY. All right, I wanted to see how this was going to react. Let me pull it up. Actually, it was actually right, this one right here. What I'd like to do, guys, and it's nothing overcomplicated. I'm not some wizard, all right, or some genius. All right, I'm trying to find some, upper body wicks, whether it's the body, to identify a level. So I got these connections right here, and right here, right? Okay, you got this zone, these levels right here. So really I wanted to see how the tape was going to react right around here, okay? And what did it do? Take this off right here. That was just the low, the range. That's the high. This is the 10-minute trend killer too, or the hourly. I actually had the hour up and like that. So guys, when this thing reacted to, let me pull this up on the 1. SPY 1 minute, okay? As you can see, right, it's way different. This actually breaks this level. Actually, it fails right here, pulls back, stuffs up against here, right? Actually breaks it, pulls back, tries to break it again, but the level 2 and the tape were still heavy. All right, there wasn't enough buyers to get that squeeze. There wasn't anything telling me, hey, this is strong, right? And it's the same thing, right? Even though these things break these zones, levels, you're not gonna have that pinpoint perfect all the time. It's not gonna be, but the plan was to go short or to have puts. Basically, I went, what is this? Yeah, 393 puts on Friday on this one, okay? So this was a great level, I matched it up, I zoomed out, right? Remember that I talked about a video about zooming out. I zoomed out, right? I saw how, we had a nice 1 hour pattern, kind of happened like this, actually a few days ago, right here, where this thing gapped down, popped up, actually broke out. So I was, and I even said this, I was watching particularly like, hey, I want to see how this new hourly candle opens. Because if you look left, when this thing repeated itself, this thing pulled back, right? Rejected at pretty much a key level too, pulled back and started to bounce. But instead, this thing broke trend, opened up, and had continuation to the downside. All right. The plan was to do puts against this level. Now, if you're like, hey, you traded this, and well, how come you didn't stop out? Well, I mean, guys, it only went up a little bit. And when you're doing options, it's not like the price changed extremely where it just got blown out. I had to cover. Okay, I was watching the tape particular to see how these candles would move. And if you see, this is a huge level, right? Same thing when I'm trading small caps, these large caps. When I get these big levels, guys, I'm looking for that breakout volume. I'm looking for this, okay, right? We have increasing volume, but no follow through. All right, pretty much heavy pullback, increasing volume, right? No follow through, low volume pullback. This is this consolidating at this zone, but then we start getting this, some more heavy volume through or follow through to the downside, okay? And this thing eventually respects that level and pulls back. And I'm watching particular again for things to, when they start to pull back to retest these levels, stay heavy, start to pull back and start to get volume heavy, right? I want to see the level 2 in the tape start dumping with big volume now. When you see things dump and it's on light volume, guys, remember, volume, price action, and level 2 is going to tell you which direction this is going, okay? So that's how I'm trading these large caps, all right? I've learned that you have to let them breathe a little bit, right? If you get in a little too early, why did you do calls? Why did you do puts, okay? Now, if you start getting blown out, that's a little different, right? I don't like to go in and out too much on these. I like to have my conviction play, stick to my plan, and trade it accordingly, right? Do I lose? 100%, right? Do I win? 100%. Do I keep my losses smaller than, my losses are smaller? My losses are small, my wins are big, okay? I cut fast when I need to, but what keeps me in these plays is watching level 2 repeatedly, right? When they get to key levels or zones, I want to see how they react, okay? Because things will break out, right? Things will break out. They will tell you essential direction where they're going, but it's really important to, when things get to key levels, to watch that level 2 again, okay? So again, if you're trading these large caps, if you're trying to trade SPY over and over, all I've been doing is really watching SPY, Tesla, a few other ones that I'll join my boy Tommy with nice, those 10-minute trend killers. Basically, don't overcomplicate it, right? We got the 10-minute up. We're looking for like some major trend line crack, break, no follow through back to the upside. And that's almost what you get right here. I just pulled my trend line down just a little bit longer. I had this one based off the hourly. I was looking for the hourly break, a bigger time frame type of play. That way, and when I say bigger time frame plays, I mean that by, I don't want to get chopped up because I have this play that I'm trading on a larger time frame, and then I go to the 5 and it starts to pop up and I'm like, oh, what's going on? Or even the 1 minute, right? I don't want to get swiped out or cut my position because I see something start to curl. This is what I mean too right here. This has big volume to the upside, no more follow through to re-break high a day, or this pivot that was on there, right? And then you get this false breakout right here, and then you start getting increasing volume, sell volume to the downside. All right, this is a trend line break, retest, fail. As you can see that right here. All right, that's also amazing right here. Okay, when we get this retest, it dumps on heavy volume. All right, consolidates, tries to re-break out again, and just still the level 2 in tape. As you can see, this trying to break out against stuff, pulls back, which you would think, let me show you guys, this is light volume still, even when this is going up. Look at the VPA right here. All right, so remember, when you're in a trade, all right, and you have this conviction of like, hey, I want this to go here, my entry is already way up here, I kind of nailed the top. It's like going long on a play and you nail the bottom, and it's like your entry is right here and the stock's up here still, and it pulls back on my volume, and you kind of get nervous, so you exit the full position, but you're already up $1.50, maybe 20, 40 cents, 50 cents a contract. It starts to pull back, you get nervous, and then it re-rips, and you're like, well, why'd I stop out? When you're trading these large caps, and what I learned was, once, it's super important to trade these and to identify the trend and not to be all over the place, right? So once this level actually came up, I was in, I was game. This is the level that I want to see fail. I don't want to see no follow through to the upside after this. And now I'm going to hold these and look for signs to actually exit. Now, do you take profits? Of course. You know, you're taking some puts and all of a sudden you're $1.50 away. You're up 30 cents a contract, guys. Lock in some and hold some more for the original 393 puts, you know, 392, you know, things like that. It's the same thing when I'm trading small caps, right? You know, I take a nice position, I sell half, I sell 60%, I hold 40. I might average up a little bit to make my position bigger. So same thing with these options. I'm trading them the same way as I would with small caps, but I'm trading them based off higher time frames, right? Whether it's the 30, the 10, or the hourly, right? I wanted to see this hourly downtrend or lower trend line crack fail and retest low a day, and ended up almost pretty much doing that, which was this pre-market low, which is great. But for intraday lows, which was pretty much right here at 394.10, we got that at the end of the day. All right, but yeah, guys, this is my input at SPY. This could be on any large cap where you're trading, you know, Tesla, you know, I'm trading these, trying to identify larger time frame trends. I don't want to get too caught up trying to trade large caps on the micro time frames, the 1 and the 5, like I do with small caps, because there's a huge difference. You know, this is what I want to get to you guys to, you know, showing you guys a quick option rundown, and then showing you guys that these need to be treated differently. All right, small caps, I like to trade them with being aggressive on a smaller time frame. These large caps, I like to get my entries and exits based off larger time frames, and then have these smaller time frames, the 1 to 5 to 10, to kind of give me a guide of what's going on, right? But I hope this helps you guys. If you're new and you're trying to say, hey, how are you doing this? This is how I'm doing it, guys. It's also screen time. You know, I dedicate one monitor just to SPY and these large caps. So when I'm trading my options, I can look left and look at multiple time frames, because you might see something that looks great on a large cap on a small time frame, but then when you zoom out, click through those larger time frames, it's like, wow, this is actually a bearish setup. This is a horrible setup. You know, I might go long here, you might get a little baby scalp, you might look, you know, you could make a few bucks, not knocking it, but in the grand scheme of things, when you zoom out and when you look left, this is a major level. This is actually a bearish pattern. And then most importantly, watch level 2. Okay, watch level 2. Let me say that again. Watch level 2 when things are coming up and to certain key levels. All right, are we getting that, you know, strong bull run on the tape, bid stacks? Are we getting heavy asks stacked up, right? Things like that. But all right, guys, much love. If you guys hit the thumbs up, check out the level 2 reading video I did, and these are just my ideas. I'm not a financial advisor. You know, it's a lot of trial and error, right? I fail a lot more times before I start actually seeing these huge gains, right? The only way to learn is to fail and get right back up, right? Before I end this video, guys, the most important thing about being a day trader is resilience. It's failing and getting back up, failing and getting back up, learning why I failed, and then getting better. So when next time you're in that position or situation, you know how to react and what not to do and what to do. All right, much love, peace out, later, guys.